This field represents big moments, big challenges, and the need for a team you can trust.
At Holloway & Hulling, we understand what's at stake. We are your advocates in Missoula and Western Montana.
We provide clear, result-driven counsel for criminal defense and personal injury cases.
Our new downtown office is where we turn that strategy into action.
Holloway & Hulling, your advocates for justice and a proud Griz sponsor.
Thinking about selling your home in Missoula? Here's the truth. Buyers are still out there, but they're being picky. That means how you market your home matters more than ever. I'm Ty Hobbs with Hobbs Homes at Keller Williams, and my job is to make sure your listing stands out. From strategic pricing to professional marketing, stunning photography, and targeted advertising, I'll position your home to attract the right buyers and get you the best price possible. In today's market, it's not just about putting a sign in the yard, it's about telling your home story, creating urgency, and negotiating every dollar in your favor. If you've been on the fence about selling, now's the time to talk strategy. Let's see what your home could sell for and how we can make it happen.
Well, our guy's got a new background. I'm going to put this on Twitter immediately. No one in the history of time has had this much enthusiasm over a fun podcast that we decided to do so we could talk to each other for half an hour every week. But it looks great, man. Andrew Schmidt back for another week of Talkin Schmidt. What's up, man?
Well, I figure since I light the fireplace with my hot takes every morning that I might as well you have a background that is befitting of that. People who are upset with me can envision that I'm sitting in hell. Who knows? But I think it's fitting.
You gotta love it. I will say, disclaimer here on the pod. I do not endorse any of Andrew's takes. Although if I laugh at them, it's because they're funny and we're just trying to have a good time here. Also, this has created a, should I say, Schmidt Storm. And I've gone out and I've recruited a counterpart to you. So here's the deal. Here's the formula.
I can't wait.
Here's the formula at Skyline, right? We have our team of objective journalists, myself, my brother, Andrew Houghton. Sammy Akim's becoming that, but he's like a former player / analyst.
Yeah.
I like to have a counterpart, right? It's Sammy Akim, Mike Ryder, Ty Gregorak, Jordan Tripp, Brooks Nuanez, Andrew Houghton, back and forth.
Yeah, I am not a legitimate journalist, guys. I'm just right. I'm the world's famous #1 Griz shit poster. So according to Colter.
Exactly. So here we are, and I decided we're going to go down the entertainment route a little bit here with Andrew, and so coming up later this week, we're going to have another entertainment style with a former Bobcat player who is by no means a credentialed journalist whatsoever. He just likes to come on podcasts and talk shit. So that's coming up here.
That's perfect. I cannot wait to meet him. And that actually is a nice segue to our all these people reaching out to you, Colter. It's our new segment, Cat Fans Are Sad.
Cat Fans Are Sad.
All right, so I this goes out to Prodigal Cat and Caboose writing Colter about how they lost respect for Colter. Guys, don't write Colter and say that you lost. Be mad at me. I'm the one who's good enough at this to get on radio and podcasts and get paid to do it. So be mad at me, okay? Second, did I say anything that wasn't factually true last week? Like, I don't think I had an opinion in there. You guys had a 1956 NAIA tie against St. Joseph, whoever that is. In 1976, you won. Yeah, congrats. And in 1984, you won. Okay? And Sonny Holland is overrated. All right, he coached 7 years, 47 wins. What are we doing? My point is that there are so many guys that deserve a statue and quote, greatest Bobcat of all time is the greatest cat. Does not belong to Sonny Holland. He's overrated. I mean, Jimmy Califat has 4 of your top tackle games in history still. He had 30 in a game, 29 in a game, 28 in a game, 26 in a game. He had 202 tackles in one season. Like, that's your most, and the next most is 178 in a season. And he was Laser from American Gladiators. Like, he has much more of an impact than Sonny Holland. He should be the greatest cat of all time. Kirk Timmer had 518 tackles in a career, okay? And Doug Kimball had 10 interceptions in a season in 84. Where are these guys' statues, okay? Sonny Holland does not deserve a statue above these guys, okay? And then, look, 41 is a stolen idea. You guys stole it verbatim. It's a Montana native that exemplifies the program and the qualities you want in it. You stole that from Montana. You thought it was a good idea, and it makes you look like a little brother. It's not like you guys will come up to me and you'll be like, well, there's a lot of traditions in college football that people copy. Yeah, true. Like, I'll give you one. The raising of the 37 flag was copied completely from the Seattle Seahawks. Okay. If you guys started doing that, I'd be like, okay, cool. Good idea. It's a nice fun little thing to have, okay? But that's not Montana native legacy number that Jeff Choate said he did just to troll the Griz, okay? So I didn't say anything that was not factual. And by the way, your 1929 title, that was the Primo Peretta poll. Patrick Primo, a professor, and Phil Peretta, a computer programmer. That was awarded in 1995, okay? Not in 1929. So you guys hung a fake banner in your state, in your arena. You guys call them the Golden Bobcats. I do not do that. You are the guys doing the embarrassing things, not me. Okay, I'm just stating facts here. So if you like, guys, if you don't want to be called like little brother embarrassing people, then don't do embarrassing little brother shit all the time. Like it's pretty simple. Like stop, just acknowledge your inferiority. Wow, that's bad. And your jealousy and move on. Like what's the big deal? Like you just admit it. Just say we are worse. We want to be you. We do what you do. And that's fine. Like that's fine. You guys could do that and I'd respect it more. Instead, you guys are like, "Oh, it's not like that. It is like that." So it's relax. It's fine. Just be little brother. It's fine.
I will say, from my seat, the motivation for this is, first of all, Andrew's a friend of mine, and I love talking football with him. But second of all, the whole point of this is that we want to cover the teams, but also give you entertaining content and also get everybody to listen to it. And I think the fact that there's a
Colter, I love that you're stumbling on this as much as I stumbled on inferiority.
It's just like it's just funny. Like the point of this is that there is people talking about it. We want interactions. Like that's the whole point of what modern media is. I know that I'm an old school journalist. I used to do this for the greater good of the community and to hold people in power accountable. And I still do that to a certain extent because I do think that it is important with taxpayer money, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, we are analyzing college football for the entertainment of the masses. That's what we're doing here. And Andrew's a wildly entertaining guy, and
hey,
I just want these people to understand that this is all in fun. Like this, we're having fun here. This is the fun things that we're doing.
guys, if you don't like it, get online and build a following like I did, and then be entertaining on here, and then do your own podcast. You can come at me like the cat person that Colter recruited, but be mad at me, okay? Because thank God for me, I'm awesome at this, okay? And you guys are just the ones sitting in your chair complaining on Twitter or on your message boards, caboose. So like be mad. Don't be mad at Colter. Colter is not the problem here. I'm the problem here. And you guys can go ahead and come at me all you want. I'll probably mention you in this segment, which I guess that's the end. I don't want to keep coming up to you guys all the time and starting off these podcasts with this, but just know if you keep doing this, we'll keep starting with this, okay? And you'll be part of the sounder, okay?
Cat fans are sad.
Wah, wah, wah.
I don't even know where you come up with this shit. Thanks to our great friends at Holloway and Hulling. They are the proud presenters of this podcast. Their philosophy is simple. Your rights and best interests come first. They understand that dealing with legal matters can be stressful, which is why they're committed to providing clear, honest communication and compassionate support throughout your legal journey. They believe in building strong relationships with their clients based on trust, respect, and understanding. If you need any sort of criminal defense assistance, visit montanaLawyers.net. So somebody called you the C plus Stu Gotts at best. Is this the greatest compliment you've ever received in your life?
Oh God, that is great. I would love to be the C plus Stu Gotts. I love Stu Gotts. He is the greatest shit talker, really, of sports radio history. To where I like about him, though, inside baseball, is he puts you in a position where there's no rational argument you can make. Uh, and it's just great content. Like his personal record book is is great. And saying that, hey, this person didn't win a championship in my personal record book, and they're like, well, they won. And it's like, hey, it's my record book. Get your own record book. And it's like, there's nothing to say to that. So yeah, no, I love Stu Gatz. If I would say it was like a C minus. I think this week's a little better. I'm going to try not to read so much because I'm a little stiff there. But if I can just do stuff off the cuff, I feel like I'm a little bit better. So I mean, this is live TV, baby. We'll try to do it live.
Well, congratulations to the people that did understand that this is a bit. There are several on there on Bobcat Nation that think that you're hilarious, and that's the whole point, because it is funny.
Good for them that they get the show, so to speak.
Yeah, it's all in good.
Sarah, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez Now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more championships.
So, it's so funny because I think that so much of our interactions come with our good friends that are fans, passionate fans of Griz football, the Griz Fan Pod guys. We have a group text with those guys, and those guys love the Griz about as much as anybody, and they certainly financially support the program, and they wouldn't miss a game if their life depends on it, and their social lives are very centered upon the Griz, at least to a certain extent, and it's so fun to be in those group texts on game day because just the emotional roller coasters, no matter who they're playing or how the Griz are doing, it's just all over the place. It's just the fandom in a nutshell. That said, I thought it was so interesting because I have a couple other group texts with other Griz boosters and fans too, and people were they were all over the place, but very dissatisfied mostly with like the first 25 minutes of that game on Saturday. But then the Griz had the go-ahead touchdown late in the first half, and then they pull it together, and I thought they played really well in the second half. Especially they shorted up defensively. They tackled way better. They only allowed, I think, like 100 yards of total offense, and they shut Central Washington out. Watching back the game, though, I know part of this, we'll get to the why I think this, but part of this is just because of what last year was. But I thought the Griz looked good on Saturday, and I'm not surprised that they struggled for the first 20 minutes with a D2 team when Bobby Houck's rolling everybody and their mom into the game. I mean, he's playing 80 guys probably. So yeah, I don't know. I thought the roller coaster that I experienced on the group text was a lot different than what I actually saw. I was not surprised they started slow, and then I was not surprised they finished fast. And I thought overall they looked pretty good for a first week out, especially when everybody else already had a game under their belts.
Yeah, and I think last week I said 35-7, like some sort of like game like that. A lot of guys would play. So again, I'm right again. Thank you. Except for a little bit more. We will ignore that. I thought for a team that they were not allowed to, or they didn't give game film over to Montana, right? They said, hey, you haven't played a game yet, so we're not going to exchange film. Like that's, right. And it's their first game of the year, and I thought they did well. I mean, our group chat was a little unhinged at first, and I was looking at it like, guys, calm down. Like it's not the sky's not falling here. And what I came away with, like in that first half, is a lot of learning curve, a lot of speed of the game, a lot of guys rotating, trying to find the right personnel groups and what's going to work. That's the point of these games is, they're essentially warm-ups, especially against D2 schools to the real thing. Now, the team that week is not going to be the team at the end of the season, right? So our goal is to get as good as possible for the end of the year. And I thought that was a step towards that. I mean, what else was it? All the guys that played, I think, learned and got better. I saw growth from a lot of players, like especially Ayat. He made some mistakes, but then bounced back well. And, Gilman is a stud as per usual. Getting Wortham the ball early and often. Getting Wortham the ball early and often, it was kind of growth on the staff Like they did not do that with Junior Bergen, which they should have done, and instead they got were them 6 touch or 10 touches. Like what was it, 6 catches and 4 rushes? I think they did a really good job of kind of showing what they're working on and trying to get an identity. And at the end of the game, they blew them out, and that's what you expect. I think that this next week's going to be a lot harder. But I think that was a good first game. Even this game against North Dakota, that's not going to be the team that finishes the year. So we're trying to build towards the end of the year.
Is a will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana.
And the why for me, because so much of this, I always watch both the Montana and the Montana State games back at least twice. If it's a big thing I want to see again, I do it 3 times just in terms. I mean, I'm clicking through and just getting to the next play or whatever. But
I would watch that cat loss more than that.
but I'm always evaluating, like especially early in the season. My evaluation the first time watching it is talent evaluation first. Like how are specific guys moving around and what do they look like just in terms of their ability to just run and hit and make plays, all that sort of stuff. Second, then I watch execution, etc. And then maybe if I watch it back a third time, it's the nuances of the play calling or lack thereof or whatever. I only watched the Grizz game back once, but the reason I think that I thought they looked really good is because of what we saw last year. And I hate to keep going back to last year, but I mean, my God, every guy that played on defense on Saturday is an upgrade in talent, like at least the frontline guys for sure. And I thought even some of the backups too. Last year they couldn't roll nearly as much because they didn't have any depth, but also the guys that were providing the front line on the starting units, they weren't that good either. So
they were the absolute shits last year.
And I remember the first game looking out there being like, they don't have the Jimmies and the Joes, man. And this game, I thought, oh, wow, especially linebacker and especially in the secondary, they do. Yeah. They have real corners now. And that's the whole thing. They can run the scheme they want to run because they actually can play man on the outside. That's going to be the trigger point for all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think on defense, okay, every position besides defensive tackle, I think they kind of have got it figured out. Like I think those DTs, I think they have a lot longer way to go than the rest of the defense. Giving up it was 151 yards rushing in the first half, not great. That's not going to cut it, right? But I thought the linebackers are so much faster and more athletic than last year. The defensive end, like linebackers, I think they were a lot better than last year. The secondary, a lot better than last year. I think they got finally dudes. And so many guys, we were talking about on the text thread, so many guys impressed me, from Peyton Wing to the safety. God, I'm spacing his name right now.
Mike Harper.
Yeah, Harper.
Full safety. I thought Wilkinson was 24.
And Wilkinson was good. And that's not even to mention, like, I think Tolbert and Solo are maybe their most talented guys on defense. And they were fine. I know Bobby's pretty high on Solo, based on his comments, but I think he's pretty high on that whole defense, to tell you the truth. And to your point, based on last year, they're so much more athletic and they are so much more physical and so much more fast. And they all seem to, if you watch them fly around the ball, like everyone's really excited on the defense. And I think last year they were kind of just like doing their job, or trying to do their job, where I think it's more of a group collective. Like these guys like playing together and like causing havoc. And that's a big thing. Like we saw that in the 23 defense. If you have like a brotherhood, you're going to be a pretty tough defense.
Yeah, this is how the small town / small group of friends works too. Because I played in a golf tournament Friday with Ty Hobbs, Andrew Sell, and Brian Qualley, all three former
yeah.
guys. It was the Griz Round Ball basketball tournament. And we were talking, me, Sell, and Hobbs were talking about what you and I had talked about last week about the potential simplification of a defense if you're going to be a transfer heavy defense in order to make things more streamlined. And then Hobbs told Sample that at the tailgate. So then the Griz Fan Pod did a whole 15-minute pod segment about.
They're stealing your bit, Colter. They're stealing your content.
Who knows what's coming from who? And we're sitting here talking about the Griz all day, every day. This is the great and bad part about being able to text during your workday all day. So I'm not saying anybody stole anything from anybody. It's a pretty basic point, right? But I do think that for whatever reason, I don't know the why, but for whatever reason, they did do a better job of installing the schematic elements of the defense to these guys that are new. Like they looked way less stuck in the mud than some of those guys last year. Part of that's just the pure talent of it, right? They're just better athletes. But also, though, like the mechanism of it, it seems like there's much more buy-in. The defensive ends have to sacrifice so much to free up the linebackers, and then the linebackers have to run free. Like Sean Rainey asked a question in the post-game press conference that was so funny. He said, "What'd you do to shore up the run fits in the second half?" And Bobby says, "Well, we don't say run fit around here. We don't have run fits. Our defense is not gap sound. That is like the point of our defense. We are not the old school, spill and all this sort of stuff. We're just boom, free hitter, run to the ball." That's all to say that I think that they just have a better feel for the defense, it seems like early on, especially in the second half once they sort of got their feet underneath them.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, like, in order to make that defense work, we just saw like kind of a mirror of the 23 linebackers. You got to have physical guys like that are athletic, and we did not have that last year. I mean, no offense to those guys, but they're not Peyton Wing and Solo and Otluski and Tolbert and Clay Oven, and like they've got a lot of guys that are extremely athletic and can make those plays. Hunter Peck, I think, played a bunch. Like I think they have the dudes finally to run the scheme. And when you're talking about like what are they doing? Why are they running the 3-3-5? And I think this is a great point. Shout out to the Touch King, Kyle Sample. Why are we running a 3-3-5 in this transfer heavy? Why don't we go back to like a normal and base like we did back in Bobby's first run? And I don't actually have the answer to that. Like, I think when you have more moving parts, you'd want to simplify and run like we used to, and just out athlete people. But I think the thing is that if you have the guys, you can kind of run over. It makes you a genius coach if you have good players, right? I mean, I do not know how good of a coach schematically Nick Saban was. I have no idea. That's not for me to determine. I know that he had the most talent on the field every single week. So that'll make a genius out of you. If you have the dudes, you can run whatever you want and you're going to look really smart. So I think that, this year I think they have the dudes to run it on defense. I think they do.
I mean, that's just like the one of the simplest things in football, right? Is like when Cal Poly was running the triple option, or when the Naval Academy or Army is running the triple option, they'll tell you, the reason we're doing this is because of some limitations that we have in recruiting. We have to find a schematic advantage. Like in the Air Force, for example, you can't be over a certain height to be an Air Force pilot, so they have to recruit shorter guys. So they have to run the option because they have to be able to cut block, and they're recruiting a bunch of guys that are my size instead of the 6'5", 300-pound guys. Makes sense. And I wonder this. I've wondered this for a long time about Bobby Houck in terms of the 3-3-5. He learned it from Rocky Long. And Rocky Long learned it sort of in congruence with Bronco Mendenhall. This originated at BYU. Actually, originated in New Mexico with Rocky Long the first time around when Mendenhall's the DC. He took it to BYU. Then Rocky Long took it to San Diego State. Bobby Houck, of course, worked at San Diego State. So I think that there's just like a three-option answer on the test, right? One, Bobby Houck's always run this since he got back to Montana in an homage to those guys, and also secondarily sort of in a way to have a different sort of thing in the coaching circles that you can say, hey, we run this unorthodox scheme. I know that there's a couple other schools that have picked it up, that have come into Missoula and had coaching clinics with Coach Houck and Kent Bear. and Roger Cooper, et cetera, to learn more about it. So there's maybe just the coaching element and homage to guys you worked for, and sort of trying to keep this unorthodox scheme alive and teach people about it. There's also maybe the fact that when he came in, he thought Montana needed to run it because they had talent deficiencies defensively. I think that's a real viable option. But I think when you're going into year 8 or whatever, you should probably not have those talent deficiencies anymore.
Yeah.
And then there's just the thought that maybe they were running it to accentuate and emphasize the statistical production of some specific players, specifically outside linebacker or the inside linebackers and the safeties, and specifically the head coach's son. So
is this a Robbie Hauk shot? Yeah. So
hey,
he ran the defense so Robbie could get tackles. I don't know. Maybe
I'm with Luke, man. I think that Robbie Hauk was a good player, man. I think that some of the stuff was overrated in terms of the tackles that he was getting or whatever. But that dude runs the alley and he fucking sticks his nose in there and smacks people. And he's tiny. So I got nothing bad to say about Robbie.
To Luke, a shout out to Luke. To his point, he was like the prototypical dude you'd want out there in that defense.
That's right.
And especially because he was undersized, right? So
totally.
what a perfect defense for him to be in. I think I don't think Bobby likes change that much. So I think he gets this defense, he sees the talent deficiencies, and he runs it initially because I think he said it's a lot harder to get guys like a monster defensive end than it is to get a nickel these days.
Sure.
From a talent standpoint. So he doesn't have the guys, he decides to run it. It's pretty successful. Like with those talent deficiencies, they put up good defenses when he's been back. And so now that by
the time they actually learned it, it was extremely successful. I mean, like in 21, they were, I think the rushing yards per game was the least rushing yards per game in the history of the Big Sky Conference. So what the defense was designed to do, it did it well.
Right. And stuff that my era didn't do. Right. So I think he probably saw that and was like, well, if I can do this with these players, imagine if I could what I have with good players. Right. And so I don't want to upend the whole defense to now that I have a few guys, I think we can make this work and make it even better. And I think he saw the success of it and was like, you know what, I'm not changing. And, good on him for not changing. I think it requires certain guys. And I think those guys need to be in the system long enough to know it. Now, maybe they don't. Maybe this year will be the proof that, hey, these guys can pick it up in one off season and then they can run it and run it well. I don't know. We'll see. That's why you play the games, right? So I just know that they not finally. I think this year they got the right guys. They got the right transfers to run the system that they want. And these guys are actually good and athletic. Which is what they didn't have last year.
To be completely fair as well, the hybrid type defense has become very in vogue in college football and in the FCS particularly. I mean, North Dakota State has run a 5 for 20 years, and Montana State took that same scheme with Brent Vegan. They run that same thing as well.
Well, yeah, and it's in modern college football, right, has become RPO heavy and spread out heavy. So I think it attacks on the modern football offense better than what a standard 4-3 would. Like, what are you going to do? Put your outside linebacker on a slot receiver and have him go across on glow motion and try to follow him around on a wheel route? Like that, you're going to get beat. You'd much rather have a nickel in there, right? So I think there's a lot of reasons why, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think that the defense has been successful in the return. And I think he just thinks, I don't want to change it. And I think with better players, it'll be even better. It's not like last year was terrible, right? But his defenses have been good in the past with less talent. And I think now that he has the talent, he's not going to change it now.
I think what distinguishes our firm is collectively our experience. I think that's really important. Nathan and I both have handled hundreds and hundreds of criminal cases. We work on our large cases together. It's not like a situation where you hire a law firm, you hire the owner or the partner, and then you're going to have someone else handling all the actual reviewing the evidence and going through things. I mean, we take personal responsibility for all of our clients, and we work together on a lot of them to try and get good results. And I also think that it is a result-oriented business to a degree, and we get good results. If you're ever, interviewing lawyers or trying to figure out who to hire, call us. We can show it to you. We can prove what we've done for our clients in the past and what we'll continue to do for them in the future.
Another thing you can do is you can go to our website. You can look at our recent cases and the results that we've gotten in those cases. And also in a little over 12 months, we've gotten almost 60 Google reviews. And I think people can go there and see what our past clients have thought of us.
Holloway and Hulling are not just lawyers. They are your advocates in the courtroom and beyond. And they're a team of legal professionals united by one common goal: to provide exceptional legal representation to the people of Montana. These guys are aces when it comes to criminal defense, personal injury, or DUI. It's easy if you want to find them. MontanaLawyers.net.
Hello, my name is Kelly Ayat, quarterback at the University of Montana. In the off-season, it's important to do everything you can to prepare for the season. In high school, that means funding your program. In my experience, Vertical Raise is the ultimate online fundraiser platform. Now broaden your reach of your fundraiser and bring in more money than other platforms. And there are no sneaky or hidden fees like other companies. If you're trying to raise money for your program, reach out to Vertical Raise today.
And you mentioned, this is to go just sort of off the beaten path here for a second, but the reason Troy Anderson was the FCS Defensive Player of the Year, he didn't win the Buck that year because him and O'Connell both got screwed. Some guy from Florida A&M won.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which was dumb. Which would have been, it was either or, and not that guy, but that guy won it. Neither one of those guys did.
Split the votes. Yeah.
Either way, Troy Anderson was Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year, and you and I have talked about this extensively. Tackles are an overrated stat. He led the league in tackles, but that's not why he won it. The reason he won it is because he could play inside linebacker on first down, and then he could play slot corner on third down. Yeah, because he runs 4-4, right? Like the game against Eastern Washington when they were playing out there, he bumped out on Tololu Limu Jones. Talk about shit talker. Maybe we should have an Eastern Washington.
Have an Eastern Washington guy out here, and then all three of their fans will listen to it.
Anyways, Troy Anderson shut him down in the second half, and the Cats won that game, and that was a huge win for him that year. That was when Eastern was still good. Here's another complete side note. Is it crazy to you that Eastern Washington is just absolutely so bad when they were like such a competitive, good team for so long?
I think with the transfer portal now, I think it's going to be really hard for teams like Eastern Washington to be good. Now they could. I could end up eating my words, which I do a lot. But I was looking at preseason totals, win totals, stuff like that for gambling purposes, and returning starters and all of that stuff before the season started. And it's like the MAC, the most amount of starters in the MAC returning was like 10 or 12 or something like that. They all if you have a good player from like a MAC or like a group of 5 school, they all leave. They all go to a Power 4 school, right? And don't act like that is the end of it, right? That filters to every single level. Right. So like any guy who's good at Eastern Washington, Michael Wortham, is gonna go to a bigger, better program after a year. And I think gone are the days of Vernon Adams and Cooper Kupp and Eric Barrier. All those guys are going to like if they're not going to an Oregon like they did, they're gonna go to like a San Diego State or Wazoo or a Boise or a whatever. Like they're not gonna stick at Eastern Washington. Like, have you been to Cheney? It is a shithole, which it's like would be like looking at my background right now is like a live look at Cheney. Okay, it sucks. So why would you stay there if you have the talent to get a bag and go to some other school? So that's what I think. And I think the good FCS programs, there's like 4 of them now. They are the last ones who are going to be any good because they get drop downs and they get guys who want to play in front of over 20,000 people. And the rest of the people are just going to go to San Diego State. Like they're not going to stick around in, Greeley or like for basketball, like Dalton Connect is not going to stick around in Greeley. He's going to go to Tennessee. So like, I think all those programs are in trouble, and I think that they have a lot more in common with D2 than they do high level FCS and FBS.
I think it's so true. And I also think it is a point of optimism for the Montana schools because Missoula and Bozeman are cool and they're great places to go to school.
And they play in front of fans.
They play in front of a bunch of fans.
Like I give you Cat fan shit, but look, 22,000 people went to their game against South Dakota State.
I mean,
like
it was rocking. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
and in that same day at the same exact time, over 26,000 people were in Missoula. So what are we doing here? We got 50,000 people combined out of the state population of Montana going to football games in two different locations. Like that, the enthusiasm for the sport in Montana for those two schools is going to get people who want to drop down in front of people. And like Michael Wortham, I don't know him personally or know his situation, the ins and outs, but he's not at Eastern Washington anymore, and he's making an impact at Montana. And you can kind of see that any player who's in the similar position is going to look at that and they're going to say, why the fuck am I at Portland State playing in a high school stadium? They're going to leave and they're going to go to Montana like Peyton Wing did.
I mean, when you look at why is Portland State 0-3 right now and they've scored 20 points all season? Because Bruce Barnum told me at the Big Sky Kickoff, I said, how's the offseason? He goes, terrible, man. He said there's these two guys hanging out at my practice one day. And I was like, we got some fans that came out to practice. That's cool. I walk over there. Nope, they're scouts. What happened? 18 guys leave his team. I'm not saying that was a direct correlation, but like they had a sweet running back. He's gone. They had a sweet quarterback. He's gone. They had a sweet D end. He's gone. So
in the NFL, like I'll tell you, this is a more inside baseball, but there are college scouts and there's pro scouts for each team. Okay. The college scouts' job is to scout college players, obviously, and the pro scouts are to scout pro players. All right. They look at other players on their practice squad, see if there's value, see if they want to sign them. That's their job. They don't deal with college players at all. Okay. Colleges are starting to do that, which they never had before. College teams have college scouts to see which players on other teams would be good to get in the transfer portal. It's a completely new era. Like it's not what it was before. And it, like all those small schools, it kind of spells doom for them.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so last thing, because we're already up against it, but I think last year, even with the Griz deficiencies in talent defensively, they had enough good offensive skill players to be better than they were. But they did not lean into winning that way. They leaned into winning a different way, and it didn't work. And it was an excruciating season for somebody that has to cover this for a living. Last year sucked. It was not fun. It was not fun to be a part of. I think that they're better on offense even this year, even without Junior Bergen and Keelan White and Nick Osmo, because I just think that Wortham is the realist. And I think Gilman's better than he was last year, and he was dang good last year. And I think they have 3 good tight ends. I think those young receivers are going to come along. I think the offensive line is better. I think Ayat is better. So what I saw offensively, combined with the upgrade on talent defensively, I think this team has no excuses to not be in the absolute mix all the way until, deep into December at the very least. Your thoughts on just...
on offense. Yeah, I think what I said in the text thread is that I have not been this excited about the potential in a team in a long time. Like this team, if they put it all together, could be a national championship team. Like they could. Like I'm not saying they will at the moment. I have no idea how this will play out. They could lose this week. I don't know. But in terms of raw potential, like Eli Gilman is the best running back Montana's ever had from a talent standpoint. Michael Wortham is a home run threat every single time he touches the ball, right? They got 3 good tight ends.
Talented than Lex Hilliard?
Yes. Talent-wise?
Because he's faster?
Faster.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like Eli Gilman is more is faster. I say he wouldn't be as physical, or I think quick is off the first step as Lex. He's not as big as Lex.
I mean, nobody's as big as Lex.
Yeah, Lex was a beast, and he was the best running back I played with. And I always say that, not no offense to Chase Reynolds, Lex was a different animal. Like he was really good.
Really,
but Eli, I mean, look at what he does every week. I mean, you think he's bottled up in the backfield, and then he's out the gate. Like he's really good player. So you have him, you have Wortham, and then what's going to happen? Those tight ends are going to have one-on-one routes. Those wide receivers that are fast are going to have one-on-one routes. Ayat's going to have a better throwing windows if they're all concentrated on Wortham and Gilman. I think they have a potential to be really good. As long as that defense is good, and as long as they progress the way they should, I mean, it could be a special season for them. I'm excited about the possibilities. It may not work out. It may work out. That's why you play the games, right? But I haven't been this excited about them in a while.
Is 2 minutes and 30 seconds enough time for your latest Schmidt Storm?
Oh my God! Yeah, here, let's get to it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Now we have new sounders and whatnot. So here you go.
Schmidt Storm.
Colter, it is the blackout. Okay, what are we doing? Where you have the blackout, and then you wear white. Question, is this the only time this has ever happened in America in football history? Like, what? All right, guys, you set out the whole thing. We have blackout. You wear white. Wrong. Like, you're supposed to wear black. And here's what I'm thinking. Where's the disconnect here? There was an excuse I heard, okay? It's too hot to wear black right now in the summer. Your players practice in maroon during the day all summer camp. And then 2, it's a night game. The game is at night where it is cooler, okay? One last thing. The fans are already in black. It's not too hot for the fans, but it's too hot for your team. What are we doing? I don't know what again where the disconnect is, but whoever is doing the programming and hey, we're gonna have a whiteout or a blackout, talk to your coach first. Then you guys don't look like idiots when they're interviewing a country music star and he says, "What are we doing?" I don't know what we're doing. I'm sorry. That's the Schmidt Storm.
Schmidt Storm.
I love it. Sound effects are sounding great. Background's looking awesome. It just keeps going. I love it. We're almost the Zoom's going to expire, but thanks for being here, man. And we'll check in with you next week. Good stuff.
Anytime.